So, you want to hear a story? Well, have I got one for you?
A lot of people around here with guns, so kind of helps to have an itchy trigger finger.
Do you know that it takes approximately 7 pounds of pressure to rip one of these bad boys off?
As soon as he clocks that, he just darts for the shadows.
There's a, deep, cynical character flaw. I pretty much assume everybody's hiding something all the time.
My boss was like, "Oh, you gotta fight this guy, or you're gonna get another bullet in the head." And I was like, "Okay."
Starting off with a bang, this is Borderlands.
When we last left off, our crew of Mercs and Miscreants had found themselves on Fiafia, a bandit spaceport deep within uncharted space. After some exploring, the bulk of our crew had a fateful encounter with a strange young man by the name of Dynamite Grant, who had apparently run afoul of some Razor Reaper bandit members. As a fight broke out almost immediately, the Reapers tried to snatch up Dynamite Grant, but the fistfight quickly devolved into an all-out deathmatch as soon as Fidget triggered a Nova explosion. As gunfire erupted across the entire outpost, and with mayhem ensuing everywhere, our crew were able to dispatch with the Razor Reapers. But fearing retribution from Iron Clive for breaking his rule, Captain Moore alongside our crew devised a plan to edit the footage of the fight recorded by Kimmy to convince him that the Razor Reapers shot first. But before we rejoin the bulk of our crew, let's rewind the clock to before the gunfight started. And it is here, on the streets of Fiafia, that we find Duck and rejoin our tale of vaults and villains.
Duck, you and Fidget had gone into a couple shops, and then as Fidget kind of peeled away and eventually making his way back to the group, you stuck around to explore a little bit as many of the shinies in the shop windows had caught your eye. So you were here in the steel and cement streets of Fiafia, as again, fistfights are abundant. You see one just basically around every corner, two guys slugging it out over God knows what. There's street vendors selling street meats and all that kind of fun stuff. But what is it that you're looking for as you walk throughout this?
I'm glad I wrote a few things down, because one of them would be lay off the list, because I forgot it was a city. Like a city.
It is, yeah. It's like, a steel and cement saloon town. But as you kind of walk up and down the streets, just kind of getting a feel for the neutral zone here, you do come across, eventually, the Mind Over Metal. So this is an armory and shield depot, mainly black market stuff. I mean, that's pretty much what this place has to offer. So prices may fluctuate slightly, but working behind the counter, big goggles on, working over some kind of soldering kit, working on a small main what do they call it here, motherboard type situation, is a rather rotund busty lass, if you will. And as you enter, a little bing bong bell signals off, and she looks up, her eyes googled from the goggles, if you will, and he goes, "Hey, welcome to Mind Over Metal, what can we get you?"
I was wondering if you had any Atlas pistol mods?
Yeah, we scrounge around dealing with some of them Atlas. Let's see what we got going here. Alright, so were you looking for something to, like, pack a bit more of a punch, or were you looking for something that might be able to, like, give you a little bit of a boost in accuracy? Like, yeah, so let's see here. We can definitely, we can boost your accuracy, we can give you a bit more oomph. Depending on how much money you go, we might even be able to get you with a reload module here.
I was hoping to, boost my accuracy a little bit.
As you pull out your AX88 and kind of like show it to them, they go digging through some of their spare parts here, and they do in fact have an adjusted barrel accessory, which would give you a +1 to your accuracy.
Honestly, anything is better.
Yeah. Looks like they also have a shaped grip, which can give you an additional +1. Those are both uncommon accessories. So, like, we have each one of these. Each one is going to run you around about $800. So if you wanted to grab a couple, it would be $1,600.
I'll just jeez. I'll just go with the adjusted for now.
All right, one adjusted barrel here. Now, did you need me to fix that on for you, or are you gonna be tinkering yourself?
There's a guy on the ship who can do it, right?
There
I
is.
think.
Yes, Nikki. Nikki is fluent in all things guns.
Yeah, that'd probably be a little cheaper. I got a guy who can do it. Thank you, though.
Alrighty then. She goes ahead and slaps it into like a paper bag and hands it over to you. All right, one adjusted gun module. Best luck in your endeavors. And she goes back to working. It looks like she's working on some kind of like TDO reload module, and just like sparks like bzz, flickering off. But cool. You exit the mine over metal, and is there anything else in this town you were looking for?
No, nothing in this town I can get. Not really.
Okay.
So I was gonna look for some like herbs and stuff for my herbalist kit, but I don't think I'd be able to find that here.
Yeah, on that last investigation check, pretty rough. I mean, there are some like kind of like general store type deals, like some like odds and ends, but chances are probably not exactly what you're going for in this situation.
Find someone's like voodoo grandmother growing in the basement.
As I mentioned with that perception check to find that mine over metal, you did wander quite far throughout the neutral territory. And you start walking back, and it's like 10 minutes of walking, and you hear, somewhere off in the distance, an explosion. And then, it seems like, as strange as it may seem, but like all the air got sucked out of the station. Like, it is an eerie quiet for a moment after you hear that explosion. And then somewhere in the distance you hear gunfire. And then somewhere off further in the distance in another direction, more gunfire. Until eventually it begins to pepper. Just all around, just gunfire starts erupting from every corner of Fiafia. What do you do? In the very street you're walking in, bullets begin to whip. You hear like the comical 90s like pa-clang off fucking steel as bullets strike steel surfaces and ricochet off cement.
I think he'd try to like so that first explosion, would I recognize it at all as being fidgets?
Yeah, give me an insight check.
I have a good bonus, but I rolled low. 11.
11. I mean, explosions are a little hard to differentiate. You haven't known fidget all that long. But you were walking in the direction you feel like the explosion came from. So it's like you were heading towards it. So it's 50-50. It could have been fidget. If you're cynical about it, it was probably fidget.
I think he'd try to like duck out of the way of the majority of the gunfire and try to make his way towards it.
All right. So presented to you are two options immediately. That is try to stealth your way back, or mad dash, like full sprint, get the fuck out of here.
I'm gonna try to stealth it.
Awesome. All right, then go ahead and roll a stealth check as you dart into one of the small, very tight corners, back alleys of this of these buildings that all form like the cluster that is this settlement.
Natural 20.
Oh yeah.
Or 25.
Yeah.
Nice start of the night.
Very
After
nice,
my
yeah.
first 2 rolls, yeah.
Yeah.
Sneaky, very sneaky.
Awesome. So yeah, you duck into an alley and just kind of just start booking it, like making your way, darting down different alleys. Every time like you hear gunfire a little too close, you kind of divert direction, still trying to head in the same like general direction. And on that nat 20, you get real close to where you believe your friends are, and you hear more gunfire erupting in that location as well. As you like dart out past like into the streets to make it to like the next alley over, like right as you run by, like you run behind a guy right as like he catches a bullet in the face, it just like crumples over and you just like dodge out from under and dart into the back alley, making your way through. Yeah, on that nat 20, you avoided a lot of grief.
Oh, thank God.
I
Nice.
can go ahead and skip past a little of this. That was just
Oh,
like,
God.
if
Sorry.
caught, if caught, run this scenario. No, not going to be needed. But eventually meandering through the streets, you eventually start hearing shouting that is a bit familiar to you. Like the kind of guttural grunts of Tegan, Fidget shouting commands into his Digitech device, Kimmy live streaming, or not live streaming, but recording for her KimmyCast. And eventually you pop your head out just as it looks like their fight is coming to its conclusion. You make it there just in time to see Kimmy run up and set off a Nova next to this hulking Tink Goliath. So think like 4 feet tall, but gross, disproportionate musculature, making them also like 4 feet wide. Like their arms their arms are the length of their entire body and are like fucking Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan arms. But
Oh, I hate it.
one of his shoulders is like, one of his arms is almost blown off, hanging by just like the loose tendons, like around like the armpit area. And as this Nova erupts, the creature rears back and Tegan reaches up, snatches this creature in place of a head. Its skin has split. Its spine has jutted out about 1 foot, 2 feet above the body, and there's a skull there with bulging eyes just resting on this spinal cord that's like flopping around. Tegan grabs the spinal cord and rips the entire spine out of the top of this creature, Mortal Kombat style, before spiking it on the ground.
Oh.
Yeah, blood everywhere. And you catch this shortly after that, the group like all kind of huddles together and they're conversing about something as you manage to approach.
Literally like a meerkat just like pops over like a barrel or a barrier or something, just goes, "Hey guys, I found you."
Oh, hey!
There is 4 dead bodies around them. One is charred and smoking, and then there's also the body of this hulking Goliath, which is still oozing fresh blood.
Looks like you guys had some fun without me.
Hobbs is going to take his mask off and say, yeah, I can't say I don't envy your time.
To be fair, they totally started it, so...
You see, Captain Moore is there, and she's like talking with Kimmy as like Kimmy's like going over and like editing some of the video she had taken. And as you say they started and you say you believe her, she just kind of like, ha! Like...
Apparently they're also really unfriendly towards guns here, despite the fact that every person,
Everybody
at least 6
has
or 7,
a couple.
I ripped a guy's ear off. Not my proudest moment.
Nice.
To
Remember
be
that
fair.
time I took a guy's
Right.
kneecap?
Yeah, to be fair, I thought that when my brother told me that you could rip someone's ear off with 7 pounds of pressure, I thought he was like messing with me, but it turns out it's very true.
Did you see the part where I ripped that guy's spine out?
I
Oh
did.
yeah, I got that in 4K. Don't you worry
this
about it.
was that
Ooh, you, should send
actually.
me, you gotta send that to me.
When you say that you can rip a guy's ear off, you see his face just kind of go like he has this expression that says, "Should I steal ears?"
Oh no. they get real cheesy.
Cheesy. Ew.
He just gets really disappointed.
You just gotta dry him out like jerky.
Oh god.
Ew. Ear jerky.
Like the fourth
You
weirdest
just,
thing
like-
we've come up.
Scoots the ear that's on the ground nearer towards Duck's direction.
Right.
Oh, he definitely pockets it.
The fear,
Just in case.
The fear Gorda is going to get quite a reputation. So Kimmy, you had made a few checks to pretty passably edit a couple key moments out of the video. Those including the flash of Hobbs's katana and the Nova explosion caused by Fidget. And with the edits in place, a pretty convincing video that simply shows like the elite pulling a gun and firing. After, of course, like the headbutts and the fist fighting portion of this had taken place for a moment. So showing that the Razor Repos headbutted first and then shot first.
Yeah.
And you feel like you've done a pretty good job with it. Says things like, right, alright, so perhaps we should be trying to get a bit ahead of this shitstorm here, and maybe we can make it to Ironclads before anything comes of this. Shall we all to Ironclads then?
Would I be able to have a chance to look over the footage and make an edit to it before we show it to Ironclad?
Yeah, you know what? I would say like yeah.
Something specific I thought of that might be key to it.
Okay, yeah.
So-
Tell me what you would do differently, because just going over the same edit would probably be a little more tricky. But if you got something new you want to add to it, like yeah.
So instead of entirely editing the Nova explosion out, edit it like how you had the video edited so it didn't show me on screen setting off the Nova explosion. I want to go in and edit the audio of it so it's the sound of it is still there, but it sounds like it's from a distance from us.
I'd like to give him the help action if I can.
Actually, I'm gonna say that he's like you made your rolls. I think he's gonna roll this straight.
Okay,
All right.
fair enough.
So so Fidget like takes his hacker's kit and like takes it apart and like integrates it into the Digitech on his arm, so it's basically he has like a Pip-Boy now. Pretty
Brilliant.
much. And he does like the edits from there.
Fantastic. Just jacking into Kimmy's Echo Dex. Yeah, give us a tech check.
Not bad. 23.
Oh snap! Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, I would say you're able to like add like a nice like delay and reverb effect to the blast, so it sounds like it came from like a bit of a distance away, and then undoing some of the quick edits that Kimmy did to like kind of reduce the amount of Nova Flash. You're able to kind of pan the camera angle back to reveal just like a bit more of it, but while like it's like just the edge that like the outer limits that swept out from you, so you're not like in frame of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. So the the katana is out of the picture, and the explosion sounds like it may have been caused by someone other than one of you guys. Are you trying to make it seem like it was caused by the Razor Reapers, or caused by someone entirely removed from the situation?
That was my first thought, but I wasn't sure how well we'd be able to pull that off, and then it would also rely heavily on like if we're like cross-examined, keeping the story straight. That way it just removes that from the equations. Just there was an explosion. We don't know where it came from.
Fair.
And that leaves a ton of plausible deniability because the other party is dead.
My only concern, I guess, involving that would be like you're saying that the explosion came from far away, but you're also showing the explosion in frame.
No, I wanted to leave that. I wanted to leave that edited out of the frame.
Oh,
still.
gotcha. Okay, so instead of panning back, you push it a little more forward just to kind of get rid of it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, makes sense. All right, because I was a little thrown by that, but yeah, makes sense. Awesome. So you're able to jack in, make some quick edits there, and in answer to your question, Tegan, and for your benefit, Duck, says that just kind of, I did it again, damn it. Abby just says again that, she's like, yeah, like Clive runs this whole shop, and like his one rule is like no like gunfighting in the streets, basically, because you see what happens. And, like the gunfire at this point is like coming in waves now. It's not like a never-ending stream of like explosive compression and all of that. Instead, it's like blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. You know, like it's starting to die down now. Like these things are amazingly intense, but relatively short-lived. Otherwise, there would be no population left.
Mr.
Like,
Torg would be proud.
yeah, this is like Torg sponsored Fiafia for sure. So yeah, so it says damn it, Abby is just she's like so like if Clive catches wind that like we like started this in particular, like he's gonna, that hammer of his is not just for show. Clive doesn't fuck around with this kind of shit. But with the Razor Reapers, they're pretty much bastards as a whole. So this might have a chance. Clive might be willing to, even if Clive thinks that it was us, he might be willing to turn a blind eye just to give one to the Reapers. They're horrible. They're pricks. So yeah. So shall we get to Clive's then? See if we can get ahead of this.
Come on, team. Let's saunter on over, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. Quickly making your way through the streets to like towards the center of the neutral zone, where Kimmy and Hobbs know that Iron Clive's mansion, so to speak, resides. Stepping up, it is a very, very big building in the same vein as everything else in here, made largely of like concrete and steel. As I mentioned last time, very, very Scarface. It's like, you know, big wide staircases, columns, like, place looks swanky as shit. Abby makes it to the top of the landing, right in front of the doors as you guys all catch up to her. She goes, "All right, we ready? Let's play it cool." It
We're really cool.
opens up the door, and you're all immediately hit with like a rich, earthy yet vaguely skunky smell as smoke is wafting throughout this room. Yeah, and Abby kind of takes a step back, and then opens the doors wider and steps in. As Doc Strawman is having a conversation with Clive. Doc Strawman had stayed behind to talk about unloading some of his product to Iron Clive. And he's apparently in the middle of a product demonstration where he's like, "Yeah, man, like this one's supposed to be like really great for just like mellowing out. You know, any anxiety you have, you can start to feel kind of melt away." And he turns and goes, "Oh, hey, Captain," and like shoots you all like a wink.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and Abby's just like, "Clive, you're looking well. I know it's been a minute," knowing full well that you were there like less than an hour ago. And Clive is just stone face, like staring at you guys, not saying a word, not making any motions or gestures. Just as soon as you come in, he's just looking at you.
For a minute there, I thought you said stoned face.
Oh yeah. I mean, with the amount of smoke present in this room, you would have to assume that anyone that spends more than 5 minutes in this room is going to start feeling a little good. There's no jovialness to him. There's no laziness to him. It's like he's like looking at Doc Strawman, and then you guys enter, and he just like. And he goes, so Abby's like, "Hey, so, Clive, I'm sure you've heard the ruckus going around." Clive just grunts. Who wants to take charge of presenting the video?
All right, check it.
Oh,
God. Oh, no.
Okay, alright, so we got...
Well, I was just going to say, so I think what Hobbs is going to give sort of like a really trite sort of like hands up and just say, "We know some colleagues of ours business here. We want to things on an even footing and be even dealers, so we came back shoot straight with you, because you're gonna hear some stories about how we were at Ground Zero for a little bit of a shootout that took place earlier, and the sounds of it might still be taking place time to time outside. In reality, again, admittedly, we're a little naive to how serious you take the no guns policy around here. When you get shot at, the general instinct is that you shoot back. And so we were more or less attacked by a flock of wild douchebags in the midst of or lovely and had really no alternative but to defend ourselves. They picked a fight that I think they understood that they weren't going to win, and they resorted to bullets. So similarly saw fit to solve that problem with bullets. Hope you understand. I'll either gesture when she comes back or present him with the go footage or whatever the case.
Alright, well, while we're waiting for Kimmy to get back so we can make an informed decision as a group, but this guy, Clive, who's kind of like, at this point, fingering the handle of his hammer, which sits, like, the head of it on the ground, like, 3 feet of, like, metal rod beside him, listens to you. Make a persuasion check, and depending on how you do this, may aid whoever makes the next check.
That's going to be really good. That's a 22.
Nice. Alright, I'm going to roll an insight check for Iron Clive here, but I'm going to do so with disadvantage, because he is high as a kite. Okay, alright. Not terrible rolls, but not going to beat a 22. So he sits there, like, just kind of like, against, like, the steel of his hammer. And Abby chimes in and she goes, right, and by rabid douchebags, it's the Razor Reapers. Clive, you know how Mashhead runs that fucking place. Like, those guys are animals over there. You know it. This is not the first time and Clive just kind of holds up a hand and looks at you, Hobbs, and it's just like, you guys got any proof of this?
I would say, fortunately, in this particular instance, and maybe this one only, a colleague of ours happens to have a almost fetishistic proclivity for filming everything that takes place in her life. Since she was there, you were there, right? So, yeah, we got some footage.
Since she was there, you were there. That's a good fucking line. That's a good line. All right. Awesome. So who's gonna, Kimmy or Fidget? Which one of you guys want to present the video?
I'm not proficient in deception, so I think Fidget should do it.
No,
All right.
I am.
All right. So, yeah, Fidget, you pull up a Digistruct display off of your, like, Echo Pip-Boy amalgamation.
Yep.
Awesome. And it plays...
My Pip Echo.
So, you know the battle. If you need any refreshers and anything, let me know. But just recap for me what the video shows.
So I go, yeah, so I'm Clive, sir. As you can see here,
leans forward a little bit to, like, look at you, which stands, like, even sitting, stands, like, a good 2 feet shorter than him.
Yep. Like, there was this little guy, and he was running away from these other guys, right? Because that's how it began, right? If I remember correctly.
Dynamite Grant was, running and tried to hide behind the frame of Tegan.
Yeah, and like, the audio is not coming in too clearly here, but, you know, we were basically like, and I start mimicking the voices of us. I think Hobbs is the one who originally walked up. He's like, he's like, hey there, partners, you can't do this. That's not cool. You're trying to. There's like 4 of you trying to fight this one little guy. Oh yeah, and there's me walking up. I go, yeah. And he was all like, oh, we don't fucking care. We'll rip your fucking faces off. Then Tegan was like, what'd you say? Yep, there we go. And then they got punched in the face. And because I think, didn't one of them punch Tegan in the face, right?
Headbutt.
Oh, I got
headbutted. Yeah.
Headbutt.
Tegan, you
That's
still
right.
have some blood coming out of, like, one nostril from that. Like, your eyes are starting to get a little bruisey in here.
Quite frankly, I was mortified.
Yeah, do you just, like, let those guys just assault people that are visiting? That's not very tourism friendly.
Clive just holds up a hand, looks at you, and he goes, this place ain't for tourists. Looks at it. Keeps looking at the video.
So then, because then it would show they threw some punches. That's the point where I jumped in and used my thing. But, like, you know, with the edit, I'm like, and then, you know, I was trying to sneak by him I was gonna do this cool thing where I was gonna duck behind one of them and Tegan would like push him over me. It would have been really funny. But then there was this explosion, and then they pulled guns out and started shooting at us because I believe the very next thing in initiative order was a bad guy pulling out a gun and shooting.
Yep.
And then I was like, booyah.
All right. Yep. And then the rest of the video is a sea of gunfights. An ear gets torn off. A spine gets ripped out. A shoulder from Hobbs's ridiculous like Gauss rifle fucking almost tears his glide's arm off. It's brutal. And as Clive like kind of watches this, like at one point like he's just kind of like, and you're standing right next to him showing them this, and you do see like some red around like the sides of the eyes. This is like eyes open a little wider at the sight of the gore.
You're gonna see that when you close your eyes for the next couple days, like when the ear comes on.
All right. So yeah, go for it.
Oh, sorry. At this point, Kimmy pipes in and she's like, to be clear, I did not know that man's ear would actually come off. And as you can see, I did vomit in repentance, and I am working to better myself as a person.
You vomited like 3 times.
Yeah, that was the first one. I am a sensitive vomiter.
We actually learned a lot
ear.
new things during this fight. Like, it takes 7 pounds to rip a guy's ear off.
Duck just starts waving the ear around. He's like, I have the ear.
He just like takes another hit off like the ridiculous fucking glass pipe that Doc is just holding next to him. He goes, yeah man, it'll take the edge right off. So as the video comes to its conclusion with the spine ripping,
oh, this is the best part.
Yeah. Finish him. Go ahead and give me a deception check with advantage.
Woo! Okay. A very average 15.
Okay, alright, so we're gonna roll another insight check with disadvantage because he's just took another hit. Oh, I rolled 2 5s.
Yay.
I was gonna use my disillusionment, but I don't need to.
No, he is fucked up at this point. That last hit starts. And he like kind of like steadies himself a little bit on his hammer. And like he's like, all right, put that away. Jesus Christ, Abby, who the fuck are these guys? Like, for a moment he forgets that there's blood running in the streets, and is just kind of now geeking out a little bit over the blood sport he just watched. He's like,
what was it, the ear part or the spine part?
I mean, yes. Like
valid.
Yeah, the ear, the spine, the shoulder, like that one guy like lying in that pool of burning fucking pyrophoric chemicals. Like Jesus. Wow. You gotta post that shit. And he is just like lost in thought for a second before it seems like another wave of gunfire erupts over the city, and he's kind of brought back to himself. He's like, right, those fucking Razor Reapers. Little bastards. And it's at this point, after the video is done, and Clive is in deep contemplation, that a loud bang is heard as doors slam open at the front of Clive's house, and you hear calling from downstairs, and goes, Clive, what the fuck is going on here? And you hear thundering steps, like up the stairs, and eventually the door swings open, nearly smashing off the wall again. And in the door frame, taking up almost the entire girth of the door frame, is a large man. Very, like, tight haircut, like, prison pussy goatee. Think like John Goodman from The Big Lebowski. Like, big, angry old dude, like, bulldog jowls. And he steps in, and from behind him are 2 very large men that are totally eclipsed by him in the doorframe until he steps out of the way. And this big fucking John Goodman guy like storms up to the desk, like stops in front of you guys, and he goes,
"Is he gonna tell us that we went over the line?
Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
Are you the assholes that fucked with my men in the streets?"
Are you the man whose
Oh.
assholes fucked with us in the streets?
You're that guy.
He like spits.
Yeah.
He like spits on Clive's floor. Just,
Yeah, they fucked with us.
Yeah.
We just happened to fuck back.
So wait, I have a real quick question
Yep.
because I was gonna ask this after all of this because I wasn't sure this might go into an action scene. What I was gonna ask was the time between the last encounter and now, could that have counted as a short rest?
no. In fact, it couldn't have.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you, though.
Just
All right, let's
just
try to
checking.
avoid,
Just checking. All right.
try to avoid any combat here.
So, yeah, I was gonna say if combat starts, I want to know that if I can retcon a short rest in. Okay. Keep going.
So Clive, like, everyone's spoken up and he just kind of growls at each person that talks and is still, like, standing, like, his belly almost touching you, Hobbs.
Like, not even gonna like deign to look up at him. He's just gonna look at the belly and just be like, if you want to take credit for those scrubs in the streets who picked a fight that they had no prayer of winning, then sure. They picked that fight.
Brilliant. Make me an intimidation check real quick here.
Let's say 12.
Alright, yeah, you, completely disrespecting this guy, looking at his belly, which is, like, half concealed by a t-shirt, wearing, like, a ragged, like, fucking, jean vest, like, full-on biker style, these dudes. He just, like, his belly, like, jiggles with his laugh, and then he reaches back and punches you in the face.
Oh. No, you didn't.
Yeah, and you are, you're gonna take, 1 plus his strength, so you're gonna take 6 points of damage as you're knocked back into your crew behind you. Normally, I would roll initiative here, but you guys notice, or actually, it's hard to notice because it happens so fast. For being a man that is as high as he is, Clive vaults over his desk, grabbing the hammer as he vaults, swinging it up around back under his arm, coming up, like, pushing you guys aside as Hobbs falls back into, like, Tegan and Kimmy. Swings the hammer up, and, like, a purple glow emanates from the hammer right before it connects with the chin of Mashhead, who is the leader of the Razor Reapers. Bong! Throws Mashhead up into the air, into his guys, which do their best to catch him, but all crumple onto the floor underneath him. And Clive is standing there now with his hammer over his shoulder, staring down at Mashhead on the ground. And he goes, "You listen to me, you piece of shit. You come into my house. You assault people that are under my company in this moment after you started a riot in the fucking street, you fucking pile of garbage. You listen to me. These guys have shown me proof that your guys shot first. And you motherfucker need to get your goddamn house in order or I sure as shit will. Now get the fuck out of my mansion." And you see, like, Mashhead begins to, like, kind of pick himself up off the floor, blood now gushing from his chin all over his fucking grease and beer-stained fucking wife beater. He stands up and he goes, looks past Clive and all of you. "This ain't over for a long shot." And Clive is like, "It's over." And the guys help Mashhead back to his feet and begin to escort him back out of Clive's house. Any last word for Mashhead and the Razor Reapers as they are scooped up and begin to leave?
Hobbs is gonna say to Clive, just loud enough for them to hear, it's like, "What, you got drugs and a kissing booth up here? This place is fucking bad, man."
You see a hesitation in Mashhead's step, but the two big guys next to him, who, like, it's like arm over each shoulder, he, like, stops for a second and then just like, "Nope," like, keep moving. Kimmy, make me a perception check real quick. Just for shits and gigs.
Come on, roll me something good.
Shoots and gigs.
Oh, nice. So I rolled a 19, and that's for +2, so 21.
Nice. Getting a good look at this hammer now in action, it strikes you as it might be a prototype of the hammer wielded by Ewan's neutralizers, which is like the generals in charge of like the defensive structures of like Ewan compounds that you're aware of. They're like augmented to have like kind of like ridiculous strength and to be able to wield these like massive electromag hammers.
Oh my gosh, Mr. Iron Clive, where did you get that?
The hammer over his shoulder, he kind of like gestures back to it, and he goes, "That's a long story, little one, but let's just say I've dealt with some companies in the past, and this was a parting gift."
Totes fair, totes fair. Just so you know, that is a prototype, and I could probably get my hands on the real deal for you at some point if you so wish.
He kind of looks at you for a second, like he doesn't understand where that information came from for you. So he looks confused.
I have lived a very colorful life, sir.
You got something to do with the Ewan Corporation?
I mean, I used to until my ass got fired.
Well, we got something in common then. That's funny. It's a small world, ain't it?
OMG, besties!
Not a great company, that one, Ewan. They're up to some shit. I couldn't stay a part of it.
Absolutely, totally get it. They canned me because I was trying to make their bots a little bit more people-friendly. Like, who wants a scary-ass looking robot when you can have something cute that also packs a punch? They don't get it. They don't see it. But yes, terrible business practices, terrible employee conditions.
That's funny, yeah. I left because they wanted to splice my DNA with a cat.
Yeah, that's a pretty big project they've been working on for a while.
Yeah. I said, fuck that noise. And then they tried to force me, and I had to fucking fight my way out of the compound. That's how I managed to keep the hammer.
That sounds about right.
I didn't know cat, man. The fuck?
Oh, you don't want to be a cat boy?
No, I don't want to be no fucking cat boy. What the no? Clive makes his comes up to you, Hobbs, and goes, "You all right?" That was quite the sucker punch.
No, I mean, no dirtier than the guys he's running out there in the streets. So, what else were we expecting?
Yeah, let me make something clear. I got no problem with fighting. Fighting's all well and good. Nothing but, and as far as like I forgot entirely about Dynamite Grant, who is in the room with you and has stayed completely silent. Because I forgot. He's still tailing you guys, because what else is he
Made
doing?
himself real smooth.
Yeah, Dynamite Grant! No, he was hiding behind Tegan.
Has he been behind me this whole time?
Yes.
This is like his new favorite hiding place.
Yeah, he's like glued to your back, basically.
Perpetually in your shadow.
It feels safe here. But yeah, Clive looks at you and goes, and I don't have a problem with them fucking murdering you dead in the street either. Just by the way here, that being said, we keep gunfire out of the streets for a reason. It's because every one of these trigger-happy idiots that resides in this goddamn floating rock wants to kill each other on a 24-hour basis. And speaking of which, I gotta get out in the streets and stop this garbage from happening. Now, since you guys took part in this, I think it's only fair and kind that you help stop this.
Absolutely can do.
Alright.
Fair.
To be fair, most people will stop at the sight of me, but should any resistance happen, you guys are not gonna open fire on anybody. Like, the idea is to get them to put their guns away. So is that agreeable to everyone else too? And Abby's just like, yep.
I mean, I had nothing to do with it, but yeah, I'll help.
Guilty by association.
That's fair.
And Grant, you're coming too, you little shit.
Leads over to Duck and just says, "People say that about my friends a lot."
As you guys begin to walk out of Clive's mansion into the streets, he goes, I like to keep in shape, but honestly, it's a lot of genetic augmentation done over the years here that have kind of helped perpetuate this. So
I can hardly tell.
Yeah, I can't take all the credit.
Cool. Anyways, how heavy is that sledgehammer?
Oh, well, I mean, here, why don't you give it a shot? Go ahead and make me an athletics check to heft the hammer.
The way she said that was amazing.
A natural 19 plus 6 is like a 25.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, this is like a good 40-pound hammer, and he puts in your hands and there's an initial like vroom or whatever, but then you're like, oh yeah, I can get behind this. Take a few steps away from the group and kind of, and Clive's like, yeah, there you go. And if you hit the little button on the side, it activates the electromag, which just adds a little extra oomph as like it basically, if you watch when you swing it, the electromag activates like a secondary component that acts as like almost like a piston and makes the end kind of out of it at the moment you touch it. Like, you see that, and it's like cuckoo.
I like it. So how about the hammer in your pants?
Oh, there it is.
Jesus Christ.
And he just looks at you and goes, wow, real forward of you.
Well, as a hammer, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. No, like...
Yeah.
Oh, Tegan, we're gonna have to give you a lesson on flirting. That is not it, girl. Like, let's workshop that a little bit.
That was the first thing I told my first boyfriend, and
You gotta reel it back in. You sound a little too thirsty.
And also, just for reference, like, the general age group of this is largely probably pretty close, give or take, like, between 5 and maybe 10 years tops. But Clive is definitely your elder. Like, could be, like, old enough to be your father, kind of. Like, you know, he's got, like, little bits of salt and pepper going, like... You know, this dude's probably easily mid-40s.
Okay, so he's got daddy vibes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so he's a daddy, is what you're saying.
Yeah, big daddy vibes.
Oh, we broke Anthony.
Yeah, bye.
But yeah, his arms, his shoulders, his chest, his legs are all very, like, ripped and massive, but he has, like, a little bit of, like, that belly going on where, like, you can still see, like, the abs, but it's just, like, a little protruded more than it should be, you know what I mean? Like, it's, like...
Lumberjack bod.
Yeah. Like, this is, like, a power lifter guy. He picks up big things and puts them down, like... But brilliant. So as you guys are walking, you start seeing a lot of, like, little gunfights happening. It's like 2 desperados, like, shooting down the street from each other, like a couple guys engaged in some gun kata, like, up close fucking shit going on. A lot of the weaker class has already been eliminated. Those that weren't fast enough or strong enough or adept enough, have flown the coop here.
Very hot.
But, it's, otherwise, these guys that are left fighting are, you know, they're more or less the trained bunch. So you see several immediately kind of like stop what they're doing at the approach of Ironclive, but there are several groups that are either going to ignore Ironclive or not care about Ironclive. In those moments, it is up to you guys. I'm basically going to allow everyone here you can use a piece of tech, you can make an intimidation check or persuasion check, you can try to disorient them in some way, pretty much anything except opening fire in return on these guys, because if you try that, it's going to roll initiative against Clive.
I'm not sure if it's going to rub him the wrong way, but I think Hobbs is going to use his once per his quick change tech to look also like Clive.
Okay.
Like, kind of disorient people and make sure that they definitely don't shoot at me.
Alright, so you turn into like almost an exact replica of Clive, and you realize the hammer is good. Yeah, otherwise you look just like, and he kind of like glares at you and goes, "What are you getting at, boy?"
Oh, just bringing a lot of force to bear. If they're this intimidated seeing you coming, how much do you think they're shitting bricks when they see 2 of you coming?
He gets like real close to your face, just like a little uncomfortably close, and then just kind of like looks you up and down.
His face.
Yeah, and he just kind of looks at you, and then he like rubs his chin a little bit, and he's just like, "I look pretty good." Right.
Yeah, Tegan's just like, yeah, you do.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
It also, I should add that Doc Strawman is also in tow, and him and Abby are kind of leaning in back, and like anyone that's like kind of in the back of this, a little bit away from Clive, can hear them talking, and Doc Strawman's like, "Yeah, I heard you guys yelling over the Echo Decks, and I thought it would just be a good time for everyone to chill out." So like I said, everyone's gonna get to do something to try to stop a potential fight. So we'll start with Tegan. You said you wanted to intimidate people, so go ahead and give me an intimidation check.
Alrighty. So 17.
Alright, not bad, not bad. So the first group that you approach that doesn't seem to immediately shut down at the presence of Clives, you approach these two that are like scrapping with knives, like slashing at each other, and just kind of step up. What do you do to these guys to intimidate them?
I grab one of the knives from the guys, and I break the blade with my teeth. One punch man style.
Yeah. All right. I am here for that. And I just rolled for these two guys. I rolled a natural 2 and a natural 1. So the guy that rolls a natural 1 shits his pants.
God. He had some fiber today.
Yeah. And the other guy whose knife you just shattered with your teeth just like stares gaping at you, and slowly they both kind of start to like step by step take steps away from you, and then in opposite directions take off. As you guys continue walking, Hobbs, you guys approach what is like 3 separate parties all like cross-firing on each other. It's like a couple here, a couple over there. Like it's forming like this triangle where they're all behind some crate or truck or box or something and just firing throughout like this fucking side of the street. What do you do in the body of Clive?
Hey. So I'm going to... I don't have a hammer, so I'm going to hold my big gun. And I'm going to step not someplace where I think I could catch a stray or get in the crossfire, but someplace where I think that once I make noise, I'll be noticed. I'm just going to yell in my best Clive voice.
Which one of you eager for death motherfuckers hasn't been here long enough to know how it works?
Alright, for that, I will allow one of 3. You can make a deception, a performance, or an intimidation check. I think either one of those could apply to this situation very well.
They're all the same.
Okay.
Same.
That's another 12.
Alright, let's see, I'm gonna make 3 rolls here for... So 2 are actually gonna like immediately like freeze up at the sight of like you, especially carrying a giant fucking like, you know, Gauss rifle, if it were. I think you have the Gauss rifle.
I have the UN Vindicator, which I believe we said was like the gun from Eraser.
Yeah, so that might that might actually be more equivalent to a railgun than a Gauss rifle, but yeah. But anyway, so 2 immediately like freeze up and just like stop like firing, but that doesn't hit all of the groups, and as like one of the groups like it kind of drops his weapon and looks at you with like doe in a headlight eyes, catches a bullet and fucking drops. Yeah. What do you do at this point? As one group is undaunted and is still firing.
I'm going to... I have another once per day tech here. What is it called? It's called... Sensory Disruptor. I'm going to try and Sensory Disruptor... to the best of my guess, who just shot that guy with a bullet after I told everyone to cut the shit.
Okay.
I frankly don't know if I would have seen that.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 3 guys over there that are like 2 are ducked behind and there's 1 actively standing, so it's pretty safe to assume that it's probably him.
Let's have one of those obstinate dickheads make a con save.
Alright, con save. That is a natural 15 plus nothing, so 15.
That beats my tech save DC, right? Of 13.
Ah, bummer. Yeah, so he like, you know, is like this, toss out this like kind of electromag like pulse that like starts to disrupt the dude, and he like looks like he's kind of like glitching, if you will, for a second, before like looking over at you, seeing the group you're with, like Iron Clive. I'm gonna make an intelligence check for this guy. That's a low roll. That's a natural 2. So he's gonna pull up his rifle and take a shot at you. Which is only gonna be a 12 to hit.
No.
Okay, so fire has officially been fired into the group, not hitting anybody, but the gun is now trained on you. I will, I'll give you like one last shot at this, unless anybody else has anything they want to jump into this situation with.
No, even now, I would hold my action and look for a place to get out of direct line of fire. So if anyone else has.
So you stop the drop, and yeah, what do we got?
I was gonna throw out, this is stupid because I only have 2 second level slots, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna throw a hallucinating hammer in there. The target must succeed on an intelligence saving throw or suffer visions of terrible hallucinations only perceivable to them, centered on some deep-seated fear.
Okay, alright.
Nice.
This is an intelligence saving throw, you said?
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a natural 5 plus a big fat nothing. So tell me, so you toss out this electromag device, it starts to cause like the amygdala to like overwhelm, and like just like fight or flight kicks in hard for this guy as he starts to hallucinate. What does he see?
So have you played, I forget which one it is, I think it's the second Arkham game?
Yeah.
With Scarecrow?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
basically just Batman, essentially.
Alright. So yeah.
Just whatever Scarecrow sees when he's hit with his own toxin.
At this moment, he sees the big fake Iron Clive, like as Hobbs ducks out of the way, this version of Iron Clive like storms at him, like jumps like 20 feet into the air, like Hulk fucking style, landing down in front of him. This dude like trips and falls, like drops his gun, fumbles around. He's like, "Oh Jesus, I didn't mean it!" And as he's freaking out, his friends all like stop firing and begin to like wonder what the hell's going on. And the real Iron Clive walks up as this dude's on the ground freaking out, puts his boot on this guy's chest, brings the hammer up, and crushes this guy's skull.
Oh shit.
And then he looks over at his friends and he goes, "Nobody shoots at me in particular." And kind of looks back to the hymn that's back there. And then pulls his hammer out of this guy's face.
Is there like a microphone or megaphone kicking around somewhere?
Make me just make an investigation check.
18 plus 2, so that's a dirty 20.
I will allow you, as you guys begin to walk, to tear off from the group just for a second, like a little 5-minute excursion, as you see a megaphone in the window of Sobortos, who is one of the black market fences in the neutral zone.
Kimmy pokes her head in, and she's like, "Hey, how much is that megaphone? I need it right away."
That megaphone, that's $50.
All right, here you go. And she just like slams like $650 on the counter and grabs the megaphone and like mad dashes back outside to rejoin.
And he's like looking at him. Yeah, you do notice as you like run in and like yell at him, like there's a shotgun on the counter that was initially trained at you, and then as soon as you ask a question, he like, "Oh yes, friendly sales associate mode."
Money, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But brilliant, awesome. So yeah, so that group between the intimidating presence of 2 Clives and then the actual Clive smashing a person's head in. And he looks at you, Hobbs, and he goes, "When they don't agree, that's what you do."
We're just, being overcautious, respectful, the whole gun thing. We know it's sensitive.
I appreciate it. But yeah, you continue walking, and you find a couple other fights. So, Kimmy, what do you want to do with your newly acquired megaphone?
Kimmy's going to turn the megaphone on, and she's just like, "Hey, enough. Yeah, sir. words.
Okay, as you, your voice booms over as you, like, approach these two guys that are, like, firing at each other in close quarters. Like, they've already shot each other, like, twice. They're bleeding out, but they're just fucking keep going because they're fucking, who knows, like, what vendetta these two have. But, yeah, go ahead and make me, do you think that would fall under intimidation?
That's a 12.
12. Okay.
Or wait, no, because my charisma is +4, so that's a 14. Sorry.
Okay, alright. That's a natural 6 and a 13, so that's going to be just under that. So the more,
Nice.
yeah, the more of the stubborn one that nearly passed his check, you get a little bit closer, the microphone like in his ear, and like scream at him again. And blood kind of like seeps out of his ear a little bit. And he's like, fucking, or whatever, drops his gun. The other guy like backs up and like sees two Clives and the rest of the group and is like, nope, and kind of like gimps away as like he leaves a like spattering of blood as he like walks off.
At this point, Kimmy's tentacle hair is just like stressed out and like just flashing different colors throughout like the little molecules and stuff, and is just kind of like wiggling around everywhere like some gross koosh ball.
Nice. Brilliant. So you guys have spent like a good like hour like quieting the streets down. Clive has put the word out to the other clan leaders to get their sectors under control as well, and you are noticing a significant decrease in the amount of gunfire heard throughout the city. The last group that you see that is just too stubborn to get the fucking message. Duck, if you want to chime in on this one as well, if need be, you certainly can.
My charisma is a flat 0.
So, I have an idea. It's not something strictly adhering to the rules, but like I figure like, for the purposes of this maybe. So I was thinking if I could use my tech skill to like alter a fungus amongus grenade, so instead of corrosive damage that melts everyone to death, it does like a knockout gas that just fucking knocks them unconscious. So it does like non-lethal damage.
Yes. There is actually a poison called knockout gas.
I know that because that's what I'm saying. Like I know like there's a tech that covers this that I don't have, but I thought maybe just for the purposes of like because it's a narrative instead of an encounter.
Yeah. Give me a tech check. It's gonna be a pretty high DC, but let's see.
Yeah. 22.
Yeah, all right. I'll say in this instance you can make it. So it affects like a very small area in this instance.
Cool.
Yeah. I'll allow that. But I am going to allow them a con save against your tech save DC for it.
Yeah. Tech save DC 14.
Of the couple people you walked up on, one of them is going to drop immediately, but the other kind of like manages like to withstand it. Like seems like a little like vaguely woozy, but like not going down. And he turns, and through like the haze of like this like smoke, he pretty much only sees you in this moment. And yeah, he like blurrily brings up his pistol at you, and is gonna take one shot off at you. 13 to hit.
13 misses because I turned on my stalwart last stand earlier. Woo!
All right, so you like reach back, fires around at you that kind of like goes astray. But yeah, now very similar. You have a gun now trained on you, and it will continue to fire unless something changes.
Mage armor for the win.
Duck, do you want to chime in, or do you got something else you want to try to do, Fidget?
No, that was my big gambit.
Could I try to hit him with an illumination flare and then maybe just
blind him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
That can be used like as a targeted attack, I do believe.
Yeah,
so.
I thought about taking it exactly for that purpose, and I didn't.
Yeah, it's a dexterity save.
Ooh, that's an 8. Not gonna do it.
No, he is blinded.
Alright, and I think it does impart some damage, I think, too.
No, just blind, yeah.
Nope, just blind. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you fire like this flare basically like right in this dude's face. And he's just like, "Wah!" like as like he's completely blind and begins to like turn and like feel for whatever is around him.
Can I try to steal his gun from him? Like, just like, since he's blinded and like disoriented, just like yank.
Yeah. Go ahead and make me a sleight of hand.
I hope this works. 18?
Yeah, on, well, I'll make a quick disadvantage roll for being blinded. That's a natural 1. Is that? Yep, that's a 1. So yeah, you fucking snatch out this gun from, just like as he fumbles, he kind of drops the gun, and you're just like, whoop, mine.
Figured disarming was my best choice.
Yeah, he was holding actually a Jacob's Peacekeeper.
Ooh.
Just like a standard vanilla version, but still.
I'ma keep it.
And just for the sake of it, it does, while it doesn't have any real modifications to it, so to speak, it does have a 3x scope on it.
Ooh. I'm looking it up right now.
Yep. Dope. And then that guy is officially blinded, and Clive looks at you, Hobbs, and he goes, "That person opened fire. Do you want to give this one a shot?"
Literally, yes.
Alright, go put him down.
Jacob's guns can have so many legendary mods. Holy crap.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. So that's going to be a 3 to hit.
3 to hit? Is that what you said?
23 to hit.
Okay, yeah, that hits. What are you striking with?
With my Jacob's Marshall.
Okay. Oh wait, are you firing a gun? Yeah, I mean, you certainly can, but it may ignite something. Like another round of this. I think it was more referring to like a melee. If you want to fire a gun, but who knows what will happen.
I mean, he said take another shot at this, and Hobbs took that as very literal. And since he put the last guy down, this is my most talented way of putting someone down. So
okay,
at least it was a good shot.
Yeah, that dude is blinded, catches a bullet straight to the back of his head, fucking smashes his face off the wall next to him and slides down it, leaving a trail of blood. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over here, roll 20, and I'm gonna roll a die on the screen, a d20. If I roll an 8 or higher, let's see what happens. And let me pull this up here. That's a 9. As you fire, Clive like reaches out and like just as like the bullet leaves the chamber, grabs your gun and like throws your entire like arms down, and it's not but a second later you start hearing gunfire begins to erupt around the city again, and Clive looks down. He goes, "All right, I think that one was on me a little bit," but he looks at you, Hobbs, and he's like, "That's exactly what we're trying to avoid here. Like, that was the entire purpose of us walking out here, is to stop this from happening." But that dude is fucking dead. And you guys spend another hour trouncing about the streets, putting out more fires. Yeah, y'all, over the course of the next hour, through various stopping of fistfights, everyone takes 9 points of damage.
That's fair. Shields first.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not, yeah, everyone, your shields are definitely up at this point, so feel free to detract them from the shield. So, overall,
just my shield.
Overall, most of you should be pretty good, but it does take another hour. I'm not gonna like go through with everyone like doing the turns again because it's getting on in time, and we're going to move on. But after another hour, like it now would be getting to the evening section if there was like a sun in this place. Which there isn't, but the lights like do kind of like rise and dim over like the course of like a traditional day. But also the fun thing about intergalactic travel is all of these planets have different day-night cycles, so there is not a commonality.
Yeah.
Like I think Pandora's day lasts like 36 hours. Like I don't even know about like Eden 6 and these other places. So like there is no, like there is like a standard universal time which is kind of used by anyone that's like a lot of the mega corporations and all this stuff developed it to keep track over people traveling between many different like stellar regions and that kind of stuff. And Fiafia kind of just works off that for the ease of it. So there is like a 30-hour day ish.
They don't do the Galactic Standard Alpha Centauri 37-hour day.
Fair enough, yeah. That would be good, but yeah. But brilliant. So yeah, it's getting a little bit more towards what the evening portion of this day would be. And you guys finally finish up without any further incidents. Clive, he's like, all right, please don't do that again. It gets old fast. And trust me, every time it happens, it will happen. I hate to say it.
I can get the environment now. I mean, if there was someone here I wanted to shoot, of course, as soon as I hear a bullet go off, I'd find that person.
There you go.
Yeah, and I will say more often than not, it's real hard to find who actually started it. So, like, I just swing a lot of hammers. It's how you keep the peace. You gotta, like, I'm the threat. I'm the punishment. So, you know. But I kind of like you guys. Like, what can I say? I'm a softie at heart, I guess. As his hammer's dripping with blood. But brilliant. You leave Clive as he like splits off to just go making his rounds. The town is now finally begun to quiet down, except for the usual rabble and revelry that's happening. And it's up to you guys what you want to do. Cesnia's like, Abby's like, well, guys, now that fun's over with, I feel a little weary about trusting you guys on your own here, but I do have other business to tend to. I gotta make my way over to the Black Wings to discuss some business with them. If you guys want to try to ingratiate yourself with a different gang, since you have already made a very strong impression against one gang, you're welcome to join me. The Black Wings are very ridiculous. They're space pirates. That's what they do. They steal shit and kill things, and they're a great bunch. You'll love them. But it can get a little loose and rowdy over there. If you guys are feeling the effects of your activities so far, you're welcome to return to the ship and bunk down for the night or what have you. But I'm just letting you know.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay. So Fidget votes to return to the ship.
On 7 HP, I believe I will return to the ship as well.
Okay.
Kimi has a very strongly worded email she needs to send, so she's also going to send back to the ship.
Yeah.
All right.
Shields come back after a battle, right?
Yep. Basically, whenever you can assume that more than like 20 seconds has passed, your shields have reactivated.
Cool. Just wanted
you said like 2 rounds without taking damage.
Most shields. Light shields are 2 rounds. Some of the heavier shields require up to 4 rounds, but still, that's only like 20 seconds. Or 24 seconds.
Just checking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll go back to the ship with them too.
Okay, and the last one, Hobbs, are you going to the ship, or what do you feel like doing?
If everyone's heading to the ship to lick our wounds, I think Hobbs would do the same. I do think he's going to sort of make it a point to get a better lay of the land here and a climate check on these different gangs, especially if we are going to ingratiate ourselves with one another.
Fair enough. So Abby is like, all right, get back there, don't cause any more trouble. I'll be returning later on after I've spoken with the Wings. And you guys fork directions as she walks away from you, making her way back to the spaceport where, Dock 39, I believe it was, where you guys docked your ship. You're walking down like long corridors of like solid metal with like that high contrast like LED lighting. And you find the port that the Furagorda is docked at, and it is swarming with like all manner. There's like regular like humanoids, tinks, rats. They're all furiously at work, like just mending, repairing the ship, like doing all the stuff that generally Abby would instruct them to do. Also, a lot of the traditional crew have left. These guys, like the maintenance people that just kind of perform the day-to-day activities of the ship, are basically jobbers, and they come and go. So they're like usually like it's like 30-day deployment, 2-week deployment, or you can have up to like, you know, a year deployment or whatever. They just accept jobs on contract, and when their job's done, they get off wherever they are and make their way to wherever they're going next. So you'll see that the ship is very quiet outside of like the tinkering happening on the outside of it, and as you enter back in the ship, Zoe is hard at work, barking orders to all these guys that are now like in the ship. He's like, yeah, the ion engine needs a little bit of tinkering, like it's heating up a little bit too fast. And you over there, like, don't fucking touch that, it's very delicate. And like a lot of stuff, she goes, oh hey guys, like welcome back, did you have fun? Fiafia is a great place, right?
Yeah,
it was certainly a colorful introduction.
Not what I was expecting, but okay, alright. You okay? You guys look a little fucked up.
Yeah, learned a lot about the place.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm gonna go and try to sleep off this adrenaline drop, I think.
Okay, alright. You see like Zoe has like this tiny little like bot that is like kind of like blue and yellow and red, and like is basically like just this like adorable little wheelie bot that's just kind of like puttering around behind her. And she comes up to you while you're not paying attention, Kimmy, and like jabs you in the leg with a hypodermic needle, and you feel like just a wave of like kind of just nice warmth relax over you as this thing kind of heals you up a little bit and makes your aches and pains kind of dull a little.
Oh, that's nice.
And you see it's just like and like moves on.
Oh, he's so cute. Oh my gosh.
And as you're walking, Zoe's like, what have I told you about just jabbing people in the leg? Like, you gotta ask first. But brilliant. So yeah, the night is yours as you find your way about the ship. Everyone else is still more or less on board, except Doc accompanied Abby to... Actually, no, Doc hung out with Clive, but after a few hours, he finds his way back to the ship. So everyone except Abby's pretty much on the ship as well.
I'm gonna strike up a conversation with Kimmy, and I'm basically gonna bust it. I'm basically gonna bust in the room and be like, Kimmy.
You see that Kimmy has like a strange like computer like hooked up to her Echo Dex that has like its own like little like tiny satellite that she like unfolds and sets down to like especially encrypt channels.
She's like mid-email and she looks over and she's like, have you ever heard of knocking? Oh my god!
It's knocking.
Oh, Jesus.
But I came to talk to you because me complimenting Clive's hammer, which I meant his penis, didn't work. So everyone's so different. Everyone's so different out here. Like, how do you talk to people? Like, you seem really good at it.
Okay, so you gotta make sure that you observe the subject first before you find the proper channels in which to approach them romantically. It can start with like, oh hey, I like your shirt, or like, oh, those pants really suit you. You can't just like go full throttle and be like, hey, nice dong. That makes people uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Like,
nice dog makes uncomfortable.
Like, you gotta make eye contact. You gotta giggle at their jokes. It helps if you act a little bit stupid at first because they think that you're vulnerable.
Vulnerable? I am not vulnerable.
Exactly, which is what you need to work on.
This is hard.
I know, it's totally hard, which is why I just kind of do away with the whole thing, And like, generally speaking, most of the relationships that I've seen have been made out of convenience or to secure business deals and stuff. So I just looked this shit up on the EchoNet, you know? You'll have to do a lot of research.
Research has never really been my forte.
I mean, that's okay though. You know, there's time to learn and stuff. You just gotta, don't be so heavy-handed, you know?
But heavy-handed is all I know.
Well, that's why you gotta practice just a little bit, you know? It takes a certain type of finesse to really get it going, you know, as far as I've seen.
Okay, so let's say I come up to you and I'm like, hey, the color of your tentacles makes your face seem decent.
I mean, that's a little bit better.
It's a nat 5. That's a nat 5 at best.
It's a little better. You still need to workshop it a little bit. You could be like, oh, the color of your hair brings out your really pretty eyes. Or like, you know, that shirt really highlights your muscles. I like it. You know? You gotta be
really
smooth
highlights
about it.
Muscles. Or that those muscles of yours, ooh, I have an idea. I could compliment somebody's and be like, ooh, those big muscular thighs of yours, I bet you could crush a man's skull like a sparrow's egg between them.
Yeah, I guess if the kind of partner you're looking for.
All right.
Like, you could just, like, start small and be like, hey, I bet you could bench me.
Ooh.
Like, if you want to be a little aggressive, but...
That's the title of this session. I bet you can bench me.
Like, you know... Oh, Jesus, my face is actually getting so red. Why do I know all these shitty pickup lines?
Alright, good talk, Kitty. I'm going to test these social skills out.
Alright, also, you didn't see any of this. Any of it. Understood?
Right. Your secret
Thank
is safe
you.
with me.
Much appreciated.
And then I aggressively close the door. Like, aggressively.
She has got to loosen up a little.
Awesome. Kimmy, you begin formatting your email. We'll come to that in a second. Meanwhile, Tegan, you're like walking down the like corridor and like just trying out some of these techniques to various success rates against like a lot of like the humans and like rats and things and stuff that are kind of on board, just indiscriminately flirting. And some people are just like, whoa, and other people get maybe a little too friendly, and you gotta like back them off and be like, this is just practice, and moving on. But you spend a few hours practicing flirting amongst the various creatures and people all on board the ship.
Hey, Whammy, your chrome is looking exceptionally reflective today.
He like looks at the one shoulder piece he has that's chrome, and he goes, "Are you attempting to flirt with me?"
Damn, he's perceptive.
Because it is working.
Damn, that's perceptive. Wow, I did not think it was going to go this way, but like, yeah. I mean, have you ever been with a human before?
Most of my attachments are not well suited to pleasure.
Oh, okay.
But I will endeavor to do my best.
Holy crap!
You know what, Whammy? Let's just be friends.
Acceptable.
I didn't expect to succeed.
Alright, as that interaction wraps up, let's move on to Hobbs, as you like kind of glance the last bit of that interaction before like just moving away from the door. What are you up to for the rest of the night?
I mean, aside from trying to get right here, I think I would be interested in talking to Oh, well, so probably still, like, maybe it's Mickey then?
Mickey is like the guy that mainly does the shield and armor.
Armor and shields.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm interested in. I know that there's a way of reinforcing this katana that I have to make it stronger.
Okay.
I don't know if that's really in their area of expertise, but I'm gonna just use them as like a square one to research that sort of enhancement.
Fantastic. And I believe at some point, Duck, you also wanted to visit Nikki about your new gun part?
Yeah, I was trying to look real quick if I could do it myself.
Okay. Well, are you proficient with tinker's tools or mechanics tools or some form of like kind of artisan type tool?
Nope, going to Nikki.
Okay. Because you still could, but it would be extremely difficult, and you'd have to like try to find like tiny screwdrivers and crap like that.
No, I'll just go to the triplets.
Okay, so yeah, Hobbs, as you're walking in, Duck also joins you in the weapons bay here.
All right, so I'm still gonna guess Mickey, so I'm gonna approach Mickey first. Hey, handsome, that beard is certainly looking full, and well kept for deep space. I wonder if I could pick your brain.
Oh yeah, I got some time. What's got you intrigued?
So I will draw my katana, and I will just say, this is a special keepsake of mine. I'd say I'd also call it well earned, and I just want to, get the most out of it. I'd really like to extend its miles, make sure that it holds up to your more than average wear and tear. Can't even tell you its date of manufacture or what it's made out of, but if I could really make sure that it's not going to give out on me at the wrong time, I'd like to make it as serviceable as possible. I've come to really kind of rely on it.
Very nice. Yeah, he grabs it and he goes, "Oh yeah, this is pretty nice here." Like kind of like does like the thing where he like flicks the metal and it's like bing, rings out. He goes, "Yeah, very nice." So I'm sorry. What did you're looking to reinforce this? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I know that's an option. Just I don't know if that means it doesn't crack if it catches the wrong kind of bullet, or certainly if there's anything that or someplace you think I could take it where they might be able to just enforce it a bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, with a weapon like this, I mean, you could add some kind of like a Digistruct module to it that might be able to provide some kind of like slight kinetic barrier, but the best I can do with this thing is kind of make it a little sturdier against like being able to like deflect against incoming attacks. Bullets might move a little too fast. I mean, depending on what your reflexes are, to be able to swat a bullet out of the that's some.
Oh, I don't imagine I'll be able to swat one. I just would rather not have a stray taking nicks out of my blade if possible.
Gotcha. I mean, I might be able to like use like maybe the heat coming off the ion engines to melt and reforge it a little. That'd be tough. I don't know if I'm gonna be equipped to handle that. But there's a place here in Fiafia that might be able to. Have you heard of the Mind Over Metal?
No.
Oh, it's a weapon shop right down here in Fiafia. They might be able to help you out a little bit more than that. I usually handle like the kind of more like fine tuning. Like I don't know. This seems like it's gonna require like some like a hammer and an anvil or something like that, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I picture something a little old school because it feels a little old school in the hand.
It's a very. I mean, I can add a Digistruct model to this thing, and I can make it like whoomp in your hand, like, and then you could just like whoop gone. Like that's something I could handle pretty easily. But as far as like actually like improving the durability of it, you might have to look somewhere besides me for that one.
I'm not interested. Let me get back to you on that one, Mickey. Not gonna lie, there's it's the same way that I sort of appreciate the feel of the paper pages of a book. I kind of like the feel of the blade coming out of the sheath, but
It's, hey, it's a style.
there's a practical
good
application
style,
to that, I can see.
Fair enough. All right. Well, let me know if there's anything else I can help with you. Otherwise, I'd recommend. Wow. Checking out the
Mind
mind
over metal.
Yeah, the mind over metal. Sorry, I just almost fucking.
What happened? I looked away.
My finger came down and I almost ripped the headphones out of my ear.
Ooh, I hate that feeling.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just
terrible.
Anyway, awesome. So you leave as Duck. You were trying to talk to Nikki, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So you walk in. She's like, "Oh, hey, sugar. What can I do for you?"
Hi. I bought this mod earlier today. I was wondering if you could affix it to my gun.
Oh yeah, sure. I can help with that. Let me get a look at it. And you pull out the AX88 in your new adjusted barrel. And she looks at you and she goes, "Oh yeah, you already got the mod and everything. That's brilliant. I told you they would have some here. Yeah, if you give me like an hour with it and I don't know, friend prices, I'll do it. If you got, I could do it for like $100 probably."
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries there. I mean, if you come with the pot in hand, it really only takes my layer. It's something, is kind of like a lesser mod like this. It doesn't take that much time. So you leave your gun with Nikki as she begins kind of disassembling it and then sliding the new adjusted modification onto the barrel before reassembling it. But we will come back to you, Hobbs. Anything else for you?
Think ready to venture back out into the city yet.
I say if you want to take a full rest, bed down.
That is in fact what I need. I am the best need at this point.
All right, so I feel like that's kind of where everyone's heading here eventually. And as you lay down, you kind of instinctively thumb through the channels of the dark web.
Oh no.
You don't catch the message again this time. Although you do catch the kind of rhythmic chanting that you are aware belongs to a certain group that you are aware of. The chanting rhythmic rhymes that preceded the rather eerie message that you overheard the echo decks just actually the night before last. So the rhyme, I can bring it up here in my notes, but the rhyme still plays.
The end my chains,
yeah.
Horses shake my eternal rest, yeah.
Yeah, so that is still kind of signaling out there, but there is no further auditory message after it. Meanwhile, we'll go back to you, Duck. What do you do anything while Nikki's working, or do you wait till Nikki's done? And what do you want to do for the rest of the night before you bed down?
I don't have anything, so I'll just wait for her to finish and then probably head to bed.
Okay, she actually kind of shows you a little bit. She goes, "Oh yeah, so basically, you just pull, you pull the pot, the chamber. This little button here kind of releases this pot. You fold it down. You can pull out the mag lever over here and open this up. It just kind of goes into the technical talks about it. She's really focusing in. She's into it. And within an hour, she's got it all back assembled. And she goes, "There you go, hon. You should find that this will shoot nice and true."
Thank you.
I pop in and I'm like, hey there, Duck, come out here pretty often.
Oh no. He just kind of deadpans. He's like, "Well, I mean, yeah, we both kind of live here now."
Yeah, I know, crazy, right? I was just walking around because I have all these emotions because I'm so vulnerable and.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ!
Brilliant.
She's getting good at this.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, it's hard, well, I guess I'll The old dusty trail.
It just reminds me of that part in The Croods where Nick Cage's character throws like that mop on his head. And he's like, "Oh, I just got all these ideas."
I was gonna say, like, Duck like skitters into a fucking vent and disappears.
Yeah, honestly.
Brilliant.
Actually, that's how he gets around the ship. He just goes in the vents.
Sus.
That's sus.
It's canon now. Oh god, yeah.
Brilliant. Awesome. As all this is taking place, Fidget, I would say you spend a good portion of the evening, like, tinkering with your little, Pip-Boy, basically refining the ensemble of tech that creates, like, your kind of, like, digitech systems.
Yeah.
So you spend a good portion doing that. Is there anything else that you would like to do?
Fidget doesn't really do much other than that. But before he goes to sleep for the night, do we have private rooms?
Yep, everyone has like their own like bunk quarters. For you that have played the game, think Sanctuary. Like you each got your little rooms that are all on like the same kind of like deck of the ship.
So the last thing Fidget does before going to bed, and it's almost like ritualistic. It's almost like something he's done every night for as far back as he can probably remember, is he does the proximity alarm tech around the doorway to the room.
Nice.
And just hums a tune that just sounds like some generic lullaby or something while he's doing it, and then goes to bed.
Very nice. Yeah. And as sleep begins to take you, like you're just thinking about like you like lost consciousness and like awoke to like somebody trying to like resuscitate you.
Yeah.
And just like that brings back some types of memories. If you were waking up from unconscious, feeling in a fog, and like being in strange surroundings with strange people, and it's all just a little bit much. You think back to like the kind of vision you had on the shuttle when you first left Promethea. Yeah. But in the solitude of your room with the proximity alarm triggered, you are free to remove your apparatus that you are wearing. And you bed down with just strange contemplations about like what all this holds, and remembering that there is a small shard of iridium is hidden somewhere in your room.
And I'm looking at it from across the room as I'm drifting off to sleep.
Back up to Kimmy as you have composed your email. What and to whom are you sending?
So Kimmy's like clipping down the video to the point where she's ripping this guy's ear off. And she kind of stops mid-frame and sees the look on her face during, and she's kind of shaken a little bit. Because the pure, unfiltered rage that she sees on herself in the video is very reminiscent of the rage that she has been on the receiving end of from her oldest brother. And she kind of just stops writing her email for a moment and just like contemplates like what that means. And she's just sitting there and she's like, you know what? I'm not him. And then she just sends the video and she's just like, I thought you were joking! to Miles.
Fair enough. Lost in contemplation after you send the email, continuing to tinker with your... by the way, did you post the last video yet, or were you waiting to post?
She was waiting to post.
Okay. So you finish editing, you have a few videos now. It's like some videos that you made prior, just like some regular echo logs. You have like the video of you guys like escaping Promethea, and now the video tearing. Like, it's, you know, it's a fair amount of violence in a very short period of time. And you're kind of just lost in contemplation as finally, like, you, like, bring, here, get an email back from Miles that was just like, geez, I never thought you'd actually, like, try that. Like, it was a fun fact. It was like, hey, did you know it takes 7 pounds of pressure? You know, it's like, you know, like, it was, like, that was not practical advice, Kimmy. Like, what are you doing out there? Like, where, like, you're, and, like, the email, like, it's worded better than I'm saying it, but it's the sentiment of it is just like, where are you? Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm a little worried for you at this point. Like,
she just sends back, like, I didn't know what to do. He wasn't using his words.
and you get, like, the message just kind of go back and forth a little bit, and he's just like, yeah, well, like, Kimmy, like, you're smart. Like, you have, like, this, like, great, like, tech prowess that, you know, you're able to, like, you've always been able to, like, influence people, you know, without having to hurt them. Like, you were always the kind one in the family. Like, it's like, I mean, I know the world changes you, but I didn't expect it to change you this fast.
She's just like, she just sends back, she's like, I'm working on it. I am doing the best I can. I panicked. And that's on me. But, like, it was a very scary situation. And he had butted one of my friends. And I just, you know, I kind of lost it a little bit.
Like, well, Kimmy, you know, the world's a scary place, you know? Like, I'm out here doing this stuff all day long. Like, it's a violent world. Like, sometimes you gotta meet violence with violence, and that's just the only way to live in this crazy place. So, you know, you gotta learn that sooner or later, but I just hope it doesn't crush your spark.
I won't let it.
And then it's like, alright, well, let me know if you need anything else. You know I'm here for you. And signs off.
And she kind of just, like, closes everything down, puts away, like, the little things and stuff, and she just kind of sits onto her bed with her little Moofant plushie and just, like, ends up drifting off, sitting up.
Okay, nodding off. And the last thing we'll do for tonight's session, eventually, after you've made your rounds Tegan along the ship, and have flirted with nearly everyone that you could think of anyway, you eventually, everyone else is, like, bed down. You're kind of the last one to, like, call it a night as, like, you, like, stumble into your room and, like, kind of just collapse on the ground. And it's, you're starting to feel the heaviness. Like, you took a beating today. You gave a beating, but you also took a beating. And you're, like, you're a little sore, and, like, it's reminding you of, like, the come down after a match. At the old fucking blood sport arena that you were forced to participate in for years. And it's pretty easy to fall asleep. Like, you become accustomed to, like, the rise and fall of adrenaline in these situations. But there was something about this rage that just felt a little different. Like, after that guy headbutted you, you went primal for a moment, like savage for a moment. You're trying to recall, and it doesn't feel like thought went through your brain at all. It was just the urge to inflict pain came over you, and you just went with it. And as you drift off to sleep, you're dreaming of that old arena that you used to fight in. It's an octagon, steel mesh around it, people screaming and throwing like things like just garbage into the fucking ring and being nasty and shouting and yelling and whistling and all that kind of garbage. The smell of sweat and blood is so heavy in the air. And as you turn around in you're facing the people and a sea of just faceless shapes that are just all hollering and yipping. And you turn around and you see yourself standing across the ring. But yourself is a little bit, like, the body posture is a little different. It's a little bit like the shoulders are hunched, the back is arched, like it's heaving with every breath, and on its face is half the mask of what you know is the mask of a psycho. And this version of you is like heaving and staring at you, and he goes, "Yes, give in to the pain, give in to become reborn in the blood."
Are you ready for a spine tingler?
Basically, I put up my fists and get ready to rumble.
And this thing, like, pulling out from it, like just ghostly out of like just nothingness behind it, shines a buzzsaw axe. It is just a long club affixed with a whirling saw blade in it, and she just and charges at you, and she is going to take a swing for a natural 17, so that's gonna put it above 20. 21 to hit.
Yeah.
All right. For this instance, I'm gonna say you're both raging, so we're gonna go ahead and negate that kind of damage. But basically, what this is gonna come down to is, so she takes the first swing and like hits you with it. The fight is on. Now, what we're gonna do is you're going to wrestle with yourself, quite literally. I need you to make consecutively athletics checks. I need you to make your first athletics check now.
Okay.
And this is going to be contested by hers.
Oop. So that's a 12.
Wow. She rolled a 12 as well. So you guys like come and like meet up. Like you have your like brass knucks, and as she comes and swings down like the axe, like splitting open your shoulder, and comes back for another one. Like you like grab her arm and go to punch her, and with her free hand she grabs your arm, and you're stuck like in this, the early stages of fucking like pro man wrestling. You're just like as you both like strength of contest. All right, give me another athletics check.
All right. 15.
15. All right. That is going to beat her natural 3. So you like throw her arm down, like getting like the battle axe away from you. What are you doing? Are you like throwing a fist? Or are you trying to like grapple? What do you want to do?
So she's on the ground now.
Nope, she's still standing, but you have her arm like down at her side, as she has your other hand, your other hand in her hand.
Okay, so
go wild. Tell me what you want to do.
So I think I'm gonna go with the headbutt. Try just rearing back and headbutting her.
Nice. No attacks necessary in this. You won the strength contest. You rear back and smash her in the face, and like the psycho mask like cracks off, like just a chunk of it falls away, revealing like a heavy, like crazed, bloodshot eyes. The pupils in the eyes are feral, and she goes, "Yes, the pain, it feeds us." So that is a tie, and you win 1. Go ahead and make me another strength or athletics check.
If I have a nightmare about this tonight, I'm blaming you.
A natural 20?
Nat 20. Yep.
Ooh, baby.
Dang.
So you headbutt her in the face, pick her up off the ground, bring her over your head, come down with like a backbreaker against the knee, like boom! She is now on the ground, like reeling, and she goes, "Give in to it." What? All right, make me another athletics check.
16.
Awesome, with a natural 1.
Oh shit! Yeah.
She is on the ground. Finish this. What do you do to this version of yourself? This primal, psychotic version that lingers, nipping in the back of your mind at all times.
If I finish her off, does that mean that I am succumbing to the psychoness, or by sparing her, I am?
That is totally up for your interpretation. All I'm saying is, how does this fight end? This is the last move on the chessboard. What are you doing? You have beaten her back. So what is
I have beaten her.
What is the finality? How does this conclude?
I gave her my hand. I stretch my hand out and give it to her.
With a mighty, like, forearm to forearm grab, like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers, like, boom! And you pick her off the ground as she, like, heaves and blood drains out of her nose, and she goes, "This round belongs to you, but I will have my moment in the sun. I will take my chance in the light one of these days." and she starts to kind of fade back as darkness encroaches on you. You have beaten back your hooligan urges for the moment as a restful sleep takes you. And as everyone rests calmly on the crew of the Fiorgorda, Fiafia, once in mayhem, now returning to some kind of calm normalcy, and our heroes take a well-deserved rest. We will end tonight's session of Vaults and Villains.